Good morning. It's turned out nice again. Hey, how's it going, guys? You alright? Well, I haven't been up very long. This is my first coffee of the day. How you doing? Alright. So, a chap by the name of Andy Kirkman. Hello, Andy. He left a comment in one of my recent videos, and he said, Dunk, are we being sold? I really think after this flurry of buys and the stand being finished and George Smack, where is George, only been in place for 3 months, I think it lines up with a full sale, buddy. Can you do a video on this if you have any infos on this as well? Thanks, Dunk, in advance. So, it's a topic that we touch on quite a bit on here, obviously. And Andy's, I think he's on a similar wavelength to me, I think, and some other people in terms of, excuse me, mate, you know, of what could be happening because, and we do talk about this subject each time, and in this video, if you watch the last video about this, I don't think anything's changed, you know, you're not going to get anything new in this video, but we can go over, you know, or repeat opinions, if you like, for maybe for newcomers or people like Andy that's just saying, you know, maybe he's missed what my views are on it. But you know, the stadium expansion, the initial projected period that it would take to complete that work, and the appointment of the new sporting director, both coincided with each other. There are a lot more educated people to do with business and, you know, especially big business than myself. Just let me close this window because it sounds like that's his doggo out there. I'm not going over there to shut the other window. People like Rich T71 in the comments section, you should always look out for. You know, he's a good friend of mine and very clued up on this stuff and tactics and, you know, how they operate and whatnot, you know. My personal opinion is that the club is up for sale. Some people don't believe the club is up for sale. They think it's just been a ploy all along. FSG had no intentions of selling it. I disagree completely. FSG will sell Liverpool Football Club. It's just a matter of when. And, you know, we know that there are people sniffing around on a, you know, minor investment front, but the hacks, if you like, the Liverpool clique of journalists, they want you to think that, you know, there's nobody wants to buy Liverpool Football Club. Every time a Premier League club has come up for sale, it's been snapped up more or less instantly. There's always interest in football and Premier League football, you know, so there are a number of factors that I think have affected the potential progress on this front. One is the sale, and probably the most important is the sale or potential sale of Manchester United Football Club. And, you know, because that gives you an idea of valuation and what your business partners are thinking and doing. You know, we've said before, you know, well, Chelsea was so, why can't you work a valuation off that kind of thing? Well, Chelsea's situation was very difficult. It was during controversial circumstances. It was a quick sale. You know, you can see how the Glazers at Manchester United are taking their time and panning it out to squeeze as much money out of people as possible. And these are similar people to FSG. I honestly, I do think the minute that Manchester United was put up for sale after we announced last November, I think it was, that Liverpool would be up for sale, my heart sunk, you know, and I was like, oh, that's just the last thing that we need. Not because it might reduce the amount of interested parties, you know, like, because, I don't know, sometimes you get these investors, don't you, they're like, well, we want a football club, fine. But sometimes you do get genuine, you know, supporters of a club that would like to make it happen. So it wasn't because I thought, oh, we'll lose someone to United now. I just thought, well, you know, this is all going to be run parallel, if you like, to Manchester United and what they're doing. Now, about a week or 2 weeks ago, I think about a week ago, I forget the guy's name, you know what I'm like with names and my memory, so yes, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. No, it was, you know, a finance expert in the media. I know some of you, if you look in the comment sections, you know, someone will put you right. They came out and said, you know, that Liverpool was, basically talking, bigging up the possible sale of Liverpool Football Club again. And they had been extremely vocal back around January time, making all sorts of wild claims and then playing them down. And when they surfaced recently, out of the blue, basically, giving hope again, if you like, to supporters that want to see the club sold, straight away I thought, don't believe him. Right, I've got to be careful here what I mean by that. I've got to be specific. Because if I say I don't believe him, that makes it sound like I don't believe the club is for sale. I don't believe that he had credible information or anything new whatsoever. I believe absolutely that he was doing a favour for the owners, if you like. Maybe they'd said something to him to get him excited. I just don't believe it was genuine reporting. So the message might be genuine, like Liverpool remains, up for sale, blah, blah, blah. I believe that, but I didn't believe the authenticity of those claims. And it felt very much to me like, oh, look, Manchester United has made huge progress now. They're on the verge of being sold. And it's like the owners are going, yeah, but don't forget about us now. We need someone out there to show people that we are now ready to listen, right? So think about that. I think that our owners have been tracking the Manchester United situation. They're friends as well, remember. And now that Manchester United seems to be getting to the end of that process or whatever, I mean, I don't follow it closely, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in them fuckers, you know what I'm saying? We suddenly become Liverpool in the news again. Why? Suddenly out of nowhere, Liverpool on the sale front, we get a mention by this journalist and everyone retweets it and goes crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then this week, you've got the same thing from, I think James Pearce has chimed in. I haven't read what James Pearce has said, but it was sent to me yesterday, talking about, bringing up the issue of, that there's people still interested on a minor investment front. It's all like, they're all bringing this news up again, if you like, and why? Why is that? Why now? So, I think that's FSG, trying to put themselves in the shop window again now they've got a bit of clarity. But again, that's opinion. It's not based on anything that anybody's saying. Behind the scenes, the people that I trust and that I talk to, they're exceptionally quiet. But they're of the same opinion as me in that they think the club will be sold. We've had people like GIC, that have been linked with the club. I would continue to advise that you look to see if anything like that crops up anywhere. There's going to be people interested in buying Liverpool Football Club, but are they going to sell? Yes, I think they're going to sell. One of the things I've noticed since I've been doing KopTalk since the 1990s or whatever, is that when the fan base is divided, something always gives, right? Usually the fan base is divided over a manager when it's coming to the end of his time. You can think back under Gerard Houllier, Brendan Rodgers, those ones in particular, because Rafa was in at Rafa, was in a different kettle of fish altogether because of all the politics and the struggles in above at Anfield. But the likes of Houllier and Rodgers and that, the fans were really split about whether they should be axed and gone. People would get attached, and it wasn't a very pleasant place to be around at the time, like on the KopTalk VIP members website, for example, because people were all arguing that they were split. Their opinions were split, and it's like that now. Not on there. It's not. I mean, what I mean by that is they're not arguing like mental. They're just everyone's. You're either FSG in or FSG out, and I think the majority are FSG out, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm just saying that because I want that. I don't know. So there's something always gives, right? Something will give. I'm absolutely convinced. I would put money on it that Fenway will sell the club. I believe the club's been for sale since the day they bought it. Now, when will they sell? What's the current state of play? We know that they've got a couple of options on the minor investment front. I always thought that if they could wing it through this summer transfer window without bringing in minor investment, they would do that, right? And I do feel like FSG are winging it this summer in the transfer market. And, you know, because we were fed, weren't we, for a long time that this was going to be a major rebuild and that they would have to bring in investment, minor investment to pay for this. And that was the discussions we were having months ago, right? Like, well, you know, who's going to do that? Who's going to agree to that? Why would a minor investor come in, you know, and then start putting more money in? So they can come in and say, well, here's 600, 700, 800 million. Do what you want with it. We now own a part of your company, whether that's FSG or part of LFC, whatever, however they structure it. But a minor investor isn't going to put in money long term, you know. So we've had all those discussions, right? We're led to believe that these people are still around. We know there's at least 2 organisations or 2 individuals or 2 groups or 2 interested parties, however you want to define it, in America, right? That, you know, that it would be keeping it in the family for FSG, that strong relations, and it helps them over there, etc., etc. Will they sell to minor investors? I think they'd be reluctant to do that, because if they can wing the summer, if they can get through the summer without having to change the way the club, you know, invests in players, and I think that they'll dig in. They might do something on the FSG front and sell a bit of that away, but not to help Liverpool Football Club. You know, I don't believe that. And but to be honest with you, when there were suggestions before, well, they'll take a minor investor, they might put $1 billion in or 800 million in. You know, and they'll sell, you know, they'll buy some of FSG stock and all that. It's like, yo, really? And you think then FSG are going to go, oh, we've just got 800 million, we'll just give that to the Liverpool arm of things. I just don't think that was ever going to happen. I need to really read James Pearce's article. I haven't yet. Like I say, this was forwarded to me yesterday. And I have literally, honestly, just got out of bed. So this is my first coffee of the day, which is going cold. So I'm gonna go and sit outside with Remy, my rescue dog, and I'm gonna drink that coffee, and then I'll take a look at James Pearce's article. I should have looked at it before I spoke to you, but it won't change my, you know, it won't change my views that Liverpool Football Club is up for sale. And I would imagine that they will sell Liverpool Football Club in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, they could sell the club this year. You know, what I mean is, I honestly believe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that they'll be gone. And I can't back that up at the moment. It might sound like a long time. It's not. It's 3 summer transfer windows maximum, if you like, or something like that. You know, in business, these big business things, you know, it's, I don't know. The time scales are a little bit different to us peasants, yeah. So, I don't like really giving too many like hunches and things like that. I prefer to stick with facts, as Rafa Benitez would say, facts. Do you remember that? And I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, so maybe I should keep my opinions to myself. But I wouldn't be surprised if that club was sold out of the blue. I really wouldn't. There are obvious things that could derail that whole thing, which will be contributing to their decision process, not just what's happening at Manchester United. I think that this new, you know, Netflix of, you know, Premier League TV streaming, do you know what I mean? Like the Premier League are going to do their own Netflix, aren't they, at some point? Like Netflix, you know, their own streaming service, so you can watch the games. That's going to come without a doubt. A lot of money in that. This European Super League stuff, you know, however you want to word it, there's a lot of stuff in that. But you have to remember that Jurgen Klopp, when his contract's up and he does leave, you know, if he does leave, and I think well, based on current situation, I think he would leave when it's up. Previously, you'll know I said I don't think he will. He'll renew, and he could renew. It depends what's happening at the time. If you like, this is what I used to say before, right? With and I said Rafa with Klopp. When his contract was coming up, there was massive suggestions that he would leave and take a year out, and I went against all that. I said, no, I disagree. If Liverpool win major silverware around that period of renewal, I think that's a big thing to walk away from, because everyone loves you. You know, you're walking around Liverpool and everyone's like, oh, we love you, Jurgen, blah, blah, blah. You know, like you've got that good feeling, you know what I mean? And like everything's going right. So do you know what? No, I'm going to extend, I'm enjoying it. When it's going wrong and there's stress, and like last season, you know, if it last season was during the renewal thing, you'd think he'd go, fuck this, I need a break. So I do think that success, you know, contributes to whether a manager extends a contract or not. But the way I feel at the moment, I think Jurgen will leave. And if you're Jurgen Klopp, if you're the owners, sorry, and Jurgen Klopp is, you know, going to be leaving the club, that puts the club in a really difficult situation. I can't imagine a single manager in the world right now, and I'm talking about realistic, we're not talking about Pep Guardiola coming to Liverpool or anything, that can come in and have the influence and the changes that he made. FSG have been exceptionally lucky, they really have. And I think that could potentially put the club into turmoil. You saw what happened at you know, Old Trafford when Slur Alex left, and how long it took them to stabilise again, if you like. You know, they've never been the same since, have they? So if you're the owners, I'd be thinking I'm going to get out while I can. You know, we all like make decisions in life financially based on events and things in our lives, right? When we can, unless they're forced on us. And if you can see the foreseeable, if you can see and think, right, we know what's going to happen with that, then you get out, don't you? So I do think they will sell guys. I'm not going to lie to you and try and, you know, pretend like these ITKs that I know something, but I can't tell you or anything like that. The people that I trust behind the scenes are all of the same opinion as me, and that is they will sell, and that the sale, you know, when they were put up for sale in November, the process was a genuine one. It wasn't like what some FSG out people might say, oh, it was all a big blag to make us think this. No, I think they would sell, but it's all about the money, and that's it, and they're very greedy people. So yes, I will finish this video, or finalise this video by saying that many of you are disheartened because nothing's happened, it's gone quiet. I think that's because of the Manchester United situation, a little bit to do with this, what's going to happen with this European Super League or variant of it, and the streaming from the Premier League. That came out since November, you know, like real credible information on that front. So, you know, you got to think about it. You don't want to sell part of what is yours, because then you're giving up, you know, you're giving up something of yours, aren't you? You're giving up something or potential revenue in the future. So they will hold on as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like me, I'd be like, well, do I really want to sell a bit of this, you know, the website or something, and then lose that revenue each year? You know, I need that revenue. It's different how they process. They don't need it, I do. I'd be like, well, I'm going to lose X amount of pounds now. Bit of cash up front helps. You know, I can buy some new computers and stuff like that, you know, for the business, KopTalk and everything. It is a business. I run it as an hobby, but legally it has to be a business for your taxes and shit. You know, and they're, you know, just bills, like, you know, I'd be like, well, that's good, I can get all that money in. You know, the equivalent of them getting that money in is to buy, or to this major rebuild that we were going to have, which never took place anyway, or certainly hasn't so far. It doesn't look like it's going to. But then you're giving up a part of your, either your organisation or your potential earnings. So why would FSG do that? They don't want to do that unless they want hard cash up front, you know, and it's not like they're short of a few bob, do you know what I mean? So I think it would be easier for me, you know, just little old me, to go, which I would never do anyway. I've always resisted this when it's been put to me. It would be easier for me, I guess, to go and just sell a lot and fucking walk away. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like sell a little bit. I'm not probably explaining it very well, but the difference between them and me is, you know, they don't need the money, so they're just doing things to line their pockets further. Liverpool Football Club, I'm convinced will be sold. I'm convinced it'll be sold. Absolutely, 1,000,000% convinced. And I would not be shocked if there's something broke on that front over the coming months. Whereas I think the majority of you guys would be. I wouldn't. I'd be like, yeah, there we go. I expected that. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm kind of just waiting and seeing what happens. But I absolutely do have the faith with this one, guys. So that's it, really. So there isn't really anything new in the video, is there? But I was asked a question, which means that person doesn't know my views. I must read the James Pearce article today and see what he's been banging on about. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. All right. So if you're one of them people that's like, well, will Liverpool be sold? Will Liverpool be sold? Yeah, I think it will. I genuinely think it will be sold. But you have to watch what happens at Manchester United, because if they suddenly take that club off the market and say we're not selling, that is bad news for us, in my opinion. Because I will look at that and go, oh, hello. They're hanging around despite that huge offer of money. Because think, if someone offers you X amount of pounds, right, to to buy or to invest, it's, how can I explain it? I've had people approach me over the years that'll say, I'll give you X amount of pounds for a percentage of your future earnings, right? Like when I've said to people, like, it's a bit difficult at the moment, I need to get some new gear. Someone will say, I'll help you out, Dunk. I'll give you X, and then in return, you give me X. And you look at it and you think, that's all right. X would be all right now. That'll help out. That'd be really good, that. But then I look and think, I can get that back myself in fucking, that amount of money, I could probably get myself in X amount of months. So, do you know what I mean? So if you're offered 800 million for minor investment into the club, FSG go, right, so we're getting 800, but we're giving up a part of our business forever. Or if we have this new Premier League streaming service, we're going to get more than 800 million from that, and we're going to own everything outright. You get it? So they've got to balance those things and work it out. Anyway, I feel like I'm losing the video. I'm going to go now because my coffee's going cold. It's a quiet period. Please do leave any questions you've got in the comment section. Keep the faith. Look out for Rich T71 in the comment section. He's your man for. He's a KopTalk VIP member, of course. He's your man. He will. You should always read his comments to do with business, and that's it. All right. So I'm off now. If you happen to enjoy the video, please do thumbs it up. Leave me a comment. The comments are the most important things to me. Obviously, I want you all to join the channel and become members and VIP members and all that. But the comments, they're the things that I'm going to go and sit outside now and drink this coffee, and I like to read what you guys think. And sometimes it plants a seed in my head, and I think, oh, I never thought of that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, do that. And if you really like me, please press the love heart on the video as well, because that's my favourite feature. All right then, I'm off. I'll speak to you in a bit.